Hey there everyone, and how are you guys doing today? My name is Joe Marin, and I am from Mobile Cup of Joe, and in this episode of Mobile Cup of Joe, I'm going to be giving you my full review of the HTC One on Verizon Wireless. So guys, I know the HTC One has been out for quite some time now on a lot of the other big US carriers here, AT&T, Sprint, and T-Mobile. Verizon Wireless just recently got the HTC One though, and is packing in some pretty awesome specifications, such as a quad-core Qualcomm Snapdragon 600 processor, 2 GB of RAM, a 4.7-inch 1080p HD display, all in this very sexy and very attractive uni-body aluminum design. So does the HTC One still hold up to all the other big smartphones out there, like the LG G2, the Samsung Galaxy Note 3, and the Apple iPhone 5S? We're going to find out right now in my full review. But guys, before we go any further, please go ahead and grab that coffee cup, fill it up, bring it over, and sit on down. Take a swig for a Mobile Cup of Joe.
Alright, so we are finally here with my full review for the HTC One. Now, I didn't upload my unboxing video for this phone, just with a lack of time, really, and really just a hectic couple of weeks going on here with me. Didn't have time to do an unboxing video for it, but we are here to review the HTC One on Verizon Wireless. Now, the HTC One just recently came to Verizon, actually. It's been on other carriers, including AT&T, Sprint, and T-Mobile for a few months now, but just this past month or so, it has come to Verizon Wireless. So let's go ahead and review it right now. One thing, though, before we do review it, I'd like to give a big thank you and shout out to our friends at Verizon for hooking us up with this phone to review for you guys right now. But with all that said, let's actually dive into the review and start that off with the design. So one of my biggest pros with this device is the design. The HTC One has an incredibly sleek and sexy design, and as you can tell just by looking at it right here in my hand, this is a beautiful phone. At just 9.33 millimeters thin and with a weight of only 143 grams, this phone is extremely thin. You can see right there, really no thickness or width to this baby whatsoever. And at 143 grams, you know what? May not be the lightest smartphone on the market, but because of its unibody aluminum design right here, has a good hefty weight to it, which doesn't wear your hand down, but it feels like a very solid product. You can see this is one sheet of single aluminum right here, brushed aluminum, and it just rests incredibly in your hand. There's a nice gentle curve on the back, as you might be able to see right there, which just makes the phone rest beautifully in the palm of your hand. I really can't say enough good things about this phone. In terms of just a normal tour, your screen's on the front, and below that you have an HTC logo with your back button on the left and your home button on the right. You've got your front-facing camera up there with some light sensors and some speakers, which we'll get into in just a minute, actually. Your camera, and the only thing that I'm not a fan of with the HTC One on Verizon Wireless are all these Verizon logos that Verizon adds to the bottom of the device. It's not a stranger for Verizon to overbrand their products with their logos, but it is kind of a shame to see that happen here on the HTC One, which again is still a beautiful phone, but having those two carrier logos do kind of wear it down. Now, as also on the back, I'd like to point out, you have some kind of white accents right here that look stunning as well. Now, the HTC One is available in a red and a blue color schemes as well, along with a black, the stealth black one. But the silver is the only one currently available on Verizon Wireless, pardon me there. So another pro that I had with the phone are actually the speakers right here. This is probably one of the biggest talks of the HTC One. You can see on the bottom we have a set of speakers right there, and we also have another set on the top. These are called BoomSound speakers, and honestly, they are the best speakers I have ever heard on a mobile device. Now, that includes tablets, laptops, smartphones, best speakers out of all those on this smartphone right here. So to demonstrate the speakers for you, let's go ahead and hop into Google Play Music, if I can find it real quick. And let's go ahead and load up. Let's go with one of the new songs from the Fratelli's album, which is phenomenal. And let's choose, she's not going yet, but she's leaving. Just listen to how good this sounds. Actually, the wrong song. Okay, so sit back and just listen to the incredible quality of BoomSound right here.
Well, she's halfway over this hot sun. She's not Johnny yet, but she's leaving. And she's quite sure she's not the only one. She's not Johnny yet, but she's leaving. Well, there's a quiver of the backbone, bugs in the dust. She's not Johnny yet, but she's leaving. She'll take what she needs and
So as you can see, the speakers on here are incredible. I'm going to go ahead and actually find one more song for you, just so you can kind of get an idea for how it handles a different type of song. I know it's a lot of audio playing, but the speakers on this phone are just freaking amazing. We'll do one more real quick, just so you can get more of an idea for how it handles different types of songs. So, you really don't need me to tell you anymore that the speakers on the HTC One are incredible. Again, front-facing on both the bottom and the top. Not sure why it's taken smartphone manufacturers this long to realize that the speakers on a phone belong hitting you with audio rushing at your face, rather than the speaker being on the back, hitting the table, and just kind of creeping out from there. This is easily one of my favorite features of the HTC One. BoomSound, incredible audio. Really cannot say enough good things about it. And really just from the incredible design here and the speakers with BoomSound, the design on the HTC One is easily the best design Android handset I have seen to date. And now let's keep the good vibes rolling with some hardware pros. So one of the first pros I have with the hardware is that vibrant 1080p Full HD display. Now we've seen 1080p HD displays on smartphones before, but the HTC One's looks incredibly awesome. We've seen 1080p HD on phones with screen sizes ranging from 5 inches to 5.5 inches, but the HTC One has a 4.7-inch screen, which is a bit smaller. I'm not saying it is a very cramped screen, still lots of real estate, but compared again to 5 inches, 5.5, 5.7, it is smaller than we're seeing with a lot more phones. So with a smaller screen size, you're also getting a higher pixel density, because the HTC One has a pixel density of 468 pixels per inch. And as you can see right here, the colors and everything just look amazing. The text is extremely crisp. Your blacks are nice and black, as you can see right here. And everything just looks really good. I'll go ahead and show you some pictures in here, just so you can get a better idea. We'll talk about the image quality a little bit later, but just so you can get a kind of feeling for how the screen resolution does look, if I can find one actually. So for example, this Panda, again, just the quality of the image right here is phenomenal. Again, we're not talking about the picture, the camera right now, we're just talking about the display. But the display on here, again, 1080p Full HD, 468 pixels per inch, incredible viewing outdoors with direct sunlight, and the viewing angles are impressive as well. So all in all, very awesome screen. Another big pro I had with the device was its super fast processing speeds. Under the hood of the HTC One, we are rocking a 1.7 gigahertz quad-core Qualcomm Snapdragon 600 CPU, along with 2 gigabytes of RAM, and that is some mighty fast processing speeds. And for those of you that don't understand what that means, essentially means this phone is one mother trucker of a processing beast. Let's go ahead and turn our volume down just a tad and play some Riptide GP2. We'll zoom in a touch so you can see the screen a little bit better. Let's go to career. And let's just load up this race right here. So with all that processing power, incredible machine here. And thanks to that 1080p, that incredible screen, the games on here look just as impressive. So let's go ahead and get ready to race. And we are off with Riptide GP2. Again, this is an incredibly graphically intensive game, as you can see right here. But the HTC One is handling it with no issues whatsoever. I'm trying to play this while looking to make sure the phone's still in the center of the image. But again, just so much going on with the screen. Everything just still looks so damn good. and wiped out right there. But you can see that this phone can just handle anything. Swiping through your home screens is no challenge at all. Browsing the web is a snitch too. The phone is just speedy. Really never noticed too much lag with it. If I was in the app drawer, I will point out though, for example, and if I went to open up one of the folders in here, like let's say YouTube, and I click it, and there's a little bit of hesitation right there between clicking on it and actually opening the application. Little led to believe this is more so due to the software with HTC Sense. So overall, just incredible processing speeds, should be more than enough for pretty much anyone. Now, one con that I did have with the device is that there is no expandable storage. Since this is a uni-body design, there's no expandable storage or removable battery. You have options for, I believe, 16, 32, or 64 gigs of memory with the HTC One. But I do want to point out, though, that you cannot expand it, which is still a bit of a bummer to see in 2013. Now, another con that I had with the device was actually the camera. An interesting thing that HTC did with the camera on the HTC One, instead of trying to compare with other high-end smartphones that are using 8-megapixel cameras, 13-megapixel cameras, even up to 41 or 20-megapixel cameras, HTC went with a 4-megapixel sensor. And you might be scratching your head and thinking, well, why the heck would they do that? Well, it's because they're using a thing called ultra-pixel technology, which is supposed to enhance the amount of light the camera is able to capture and is going to make your low-light photos look really good and should be able to take pictures faster and apply filters faster since it is a lower megapixel count. Now, while it does take pictures very fast and applies the filters quickly, I will say that the photo quality wasn't really all that impressed with, to be honest with you. You can see that it's still, the colors and everything are represented nicely, but it's just that the detail isn't as fine as I'd like to see. The detail in some of these photos just look a little light to me. You can see even here, there's just some digital noise going on, and just not ultra impressed with the ultra pixel camera. That was a pun, and I did not even intend it. Look at me being a wise cracker like that. So I'm not sure how well it's going to be represented through the camera. You'll have to go to our website and read the full rim review, where you can actually check out some pictures that I took on our website. I'll link in the description for that below. So the camera, for being such a high-end phone with all these other awesome specifications, was a little disappointing to see the photo quality not being what I would have hoped to see. Now, one area where the HTC One excelled, which I wasn't really expecting, was the call quality itself. Now, this is really thanks to the BoomSound once again. The calls that I talked to people were incredibly loud. Everyone I talked to was extremely clear. I could hear everything they were saying. And people that I talked to all reported that I sounded like I was standing right next to them. So HTC really did do a fantastic job with the call quality on the phone. With all these other specifications, they are certainly great, but it is important to have good call quality on a smartphone, because at the end of the day, this is still a phone, but the HTC One has no trouble at all making really great phone calls. Now, the last pro I want to touch on with the hardware side of things is the excellent battery life here in the phone. The phone has a 2300 milliamp hour non-removable battery, which may not sound the biggest, but actually got some really impressive juice out of it. So with that 2300 milliamp hour non-removable battery, with Bluetooth and GPS both on this phone, constant connection to 4G LTE, a moderate texting, heavy web browsing, moderate Google Map usage, and heavy picture taking, I still had 3% remaining at 11:30 p.m. after turning the phone on at 7 o'clock a.m. that morning. And if you do all the math, that comes out with a total usage time of more than 16 hours, which I personally think is extremely impressive. I never had any issue getting through more than a full days of use with the phone. Not saying I could get through 2 days, although you might be able to if you use the phone very lightly. But I drained the crap out of this phone, always had Bluetooth on, always had GPS on, always throwing stuff at it, and it always kept up with me. And I'm truly impressed with the battery performance I got out of the HTC One. Now let's go ahead and move on to some software of the phone. So we're going to go ahead and confirm for you real quick, but the HTC One is running Android version 4.2.2 Jelly Bean, as you can see right there. And you can also see that it is running HTC Sense version 5.0. So what does HTC Sense 5.0 bring to you? Well, as you can notice from the lock screen right away, it is different. You have your time right here, and you also have some quick settings right here, which are pretty standard for a lot of Android skins. But if you swipe up, you will be taken to your blink feed right here. So essentially what blink feed is is a gathering of all your updates from your social networking websites like Twitter and Facebook. You also have your favorite news stories of your different topics you're interested in, whether that be film, science, technology, cooking. And you also have reminders from your calendar. Everything that's really going on in your life is displayed on your Blink feed. You can kind of think of it as live tiles for Android. They're not as intuitive as live tiles are with Windows Phone and Windows Phone 8, but it is a really nice feature. And honestly, I used Blink feed all the time. I loved having it all right here. Loved the layout of it. Loved how pretty the animations and everything looked. And I loved how you could really customize what you want displayed on here. Now, if you don't like Blink feed for some reason, no worries whatsoever. Just swipe over and you will be presented with your normal Android home screens. You can pinch out and add all the home screens you want and customize them like you normally would with an Android product. But if you do not want to do that, I personally found that I use Blink feed the majority of the time. Now, you can completely forget about Blink feed if you want to and use normal Android like you would with your customizable home screens and widgets. But for me personally, I really fell in love with Blink feed, and I'm going to miss it on my personal phone. So I really do like the functionality of it. I know not everyone will because it is a very simple interface, but for me personally, I really did like it. Another tweak the HTC made is with the app drawer. Instead of swiping horizontally to get through your applications, it is listed vertically and is run very smooth. And you will notice that you can actually group applications into folders from the app drawer. So I have a Google folder right here. If I go from there, I've got all these Google apps in one icon in the app drawer, which is a really cool feature to see here on the HTC One. So with all that said, with all the pros and all the cons, I ended up giving the HTC One a 9 out of 10. Guys, I really loved my time with this phone. All those pros, you've got the sleek and sexy design, you have BoomSound, you've got the 1080p HD display, super fast processing speeds, the excellent call quality, the great battery, and all the awesome software tweaks. Really loved my time here with the HTC One. Again, if you're in the market for a new smartphone, while we are hearing rumors about the HTC One Max and we have the Galaxy Note 3 coming out, this is still a very liable choice and can still compete with the LG G2, the Galaxy Note 3, the iPhone 5S. This is just such a great device. Just the design and BoomSound itself make it a wise choice, but then you factor in the amazing display, the amazing processing speeds, the great battery, all the awesome software additions, and it really is a beautiful phone. Might not be perfect, it might have its flaws, but every smartphone does. I personally love the phone. If you just want to look cool and have a phone that's as sexy as you, then the HTC One is definitely worth checking out. So with all that said, that is all the time we have for this review and for this episode of Mobile Cup of Joe. Guys, if you liked the video, please go ahead and hit that like button if you liked it. It takes 1 second to do so, and it really does help support the show. And you know what? If you want to show your support towards the show even more, I would greatly appreciate it if you go ahead and hit the subscribe button for more Mobile Cup of Joe videos. Guys, Mobile Cup of Joe, we're on YouTube, we're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on Google Plus too. We are everywhere on the web, so make sure you like us, follow us, circle us, whatever you want to do. And make sure you head on over to www.mobilecupofjoe.com for the latest in technology news, reviews, giveaways, and more. I'm Joe Martin from mobilecupofjoe.com. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.